Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Thumb, Al-Akim, Yahweh Shema Al-Athan, Hashem Yahweh Shai to the Al-Wakim. This is I.S.U.P.K Atlanta in Decatur, Friday night Hebrew class, and standing in for Officer Hadar tonight. I'm Officer Yahweh Dad. We're gonna keep it basic tonight. We're not gonna do nothing too hard, but we're gonna keep it real basic. We're gonna do as Officer Hadar would have us do all the time. We're going to do what also Hadar always have us do, and that's to go to these alphabet first, these characters first, and then we're going to get into a couple of scriptures. But before we get into this alphabet, let's see if we got anybody online. Anybody online? Anybody call into the conference call? Anybody online? Hearing nobody online, we're going to get this thing jumped out. We're going to jump it out and get it right. All right? First character is A, and in the ancient Hebrew, it's going to look like this here, and in the Assyrian, here's your character. Ba, in the ancient and the Assyrian. Ga, ancient, Assyrian. Da, ancient, Assyrian. Ha, in the ancient and in the Assyrian. Now, when you see this ha, it's going to look like ka, but instead of having it all the way closed off, it's going to have a space in it so that it differentiates itself from that ka. You got wa in the ancient, wa in the Assyrian, za in the ancient, and in the Assyrian. Ka, this is a strong ka. You got to put emphasis on it. We got brothers that have this character in their name, and it's a strong. You put strong emphasis on that character when you say it. So it's ka, and here it is in the ancient, and here it is in the Assyrian. Notice in the Assyrian that it looks similar to the ha. The difference is that the ha is open here. It has this open space, and the ka is connected all the way around. Ta in the ancient, ta in the Assyrian. Ya in the ancient, and Ya in the Assyrian. Ya in the Assyrian is the smallest character that we'll have in the in our alphabet in this Lashawan Qadash. Ka. We all know of a famous priest in Israel, Kahan Thumyad. We got it right here. That's how you start his name out right there with that ka. Not this ka. This is the ka. Kahan. So you got ka right here in the ancient. Ka in the Assyrian has a alternate ending, and here it is. It looks like a T, but it's not. It's not a T. You know what I'm saying? The oppressor is the devil. He took our characters, our Hebrew characters, and made them the way he wanted them to be. But in the Assyrian, this is that ending character in the Assyrian. La in the ancient, La in the Assyrian. Ma has two characters in the Assyrian, but here it is in the ancient. Here's the Ma in the Assyrian. Now this Ma right here, this first Ma, when you see it in the beginning of the word or in the middle of the word, it's going to look like this character right here. And when you get to the end of the word and you see a Ma, it's going to look like a square. It's going to look a complete square. That's what it's going to look like. So, for example, what's the word? Let me find a word for you with that. Akim. That would be the last character in that. Akim. We'll go over it. We'll put it down. Na in the Assyrian, in the ancient, Salakia in the ancient, and Na also has an alternate ending. But in the beginning or the middle of the word, it's going to look like this here. And at the end, it's going to be an alternate character. It's going to drop all the way off. It's not going to come under like in the Na. Go ahead.
This is Heberws.
All right, how you doing? Yahanna, I thought about shooting y'all shine. Get your all, sis? That's good. We're just going over the alphabet right now. We're on the character Sa, and in the Assyrian, here it is in the ancient, and in the Assyrian, when you look at the Sa in the Assyrian, it's going to look similar to the Ma in the Assyrian. But the difference is if you notice the Ma, it comes over and down. In the Assyrian, the Sa, it has a tail that goes up. It goes up. And that's how you tell the difference of that Sa from that Ma. All right? I in the ancient, I in the Assyrian. We got Pa. Pa in the ancient. Now Pa in the Assyrian, it has two characters. This is in the beginning of the word, middle of the word. And when you get to the end of the word, it's going to change its shape. And instead of coming under, it's going to go straight down. Taza. In the ancient, Taza is the same as Pa, Ma, Na, and Ka, it has an alternate ending. So Taza in the Assyrian is going to look similar to this right here. And in the ending, when you get to the end of that word, it's not going to look like the Taza in the beginning. It's going to be different. It's going to come down like a backwards Y, curve back to your left. All right? Qua. Qua in the ancient, Qua in the Assyrian. Ra. Here is the Ra in the ancient and the Ra in the Assyrian. Sha. Sha in the ancient looks like the letter W. Sha in the Assyrian also looks like the letter W, but it has a little flare to it. Tha, last character, it looks like a cross on its side, and the Tha, it looks like a Ka, but it's been beat up on the inside. You know, it took a jab, it took a blow to the inside, so it curves in, you know. It curves in. It curves in. So with that, we're going to get into a couple of scriptures. And for those of you that have your Blue Letter Bible with you, we're going to Genesis chapter 49. Genesis 49. And we're going to begin with verse 1. Genesis 49 and verse 1. And the reason we're going to start with Genesis, we're going to deal with Genesis 49 is because we need to learn our brothers and sisters within the 12 tribes. And Genesis 49, if anybody knows about Genesis 49, is Israel, Jacob, the progenitor to the 12 tribes, is him telling his sons what will befall them in the end times. So let's go to Genesis chapter 49, and we're going to begin with verse 1. It says, Genesis 49, verse 1, and Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. So here we're about to find out things that are going to happen to the tribes and where they will be, what's going on with them, how they're going to be moving, all in this chapter right here in Genesis 49. And as we're dealing with Genesis 49, keep in mind that the Judites, the tribe of Judah of the Bible, is not the only tribe that is of Israel. The so-called oppressor white man that calls himself Jewish, he uses the term Jew because that is the prevalent tribe that's in the Bible, so to speak. So they want to be what they would call us. But you can't be us because you're not us. You are of Edom, Esau, Idumea, Mount Seir, you pale-faced, fork-tongued bastard. You can never be and will not ever be from the house of Israel. You are an imposter. But when you look at Genesis 49, it tells you what's going to happen to the 12 tribes in the end times, what's going to befall them in the end times. And when you look at what's going on in Israel, and I'm talking about true Israel, I'm talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, when you see what's going on in Israel, we don't know who we are. But the characteristics of our people are found right here. And even some instances of geographic location or where they may find their feet, you know what I'm saying, on what type of land they will find their feet. So we're just going to go through a couple of these verses just to see and just to get a feel of, you know, what Jacob was trying to tell his sons and how can we figure out who is who and where is everyone. And for those people that like to say the 12 tribes chart is not right, the 12 tribes chart is not telling the truth about the true identity of the Israelites. Well, the 12 tribe chart goes along with Genesis 49. And we'll prove it because everything that's in Genesis 49 is on the 12 tribes chart. When you look at the people of the 12 tribes chart, as we go through Genesis 49 and we realize who they are and what's going on with them, you'll see that the 12 tribes chart is correct in everything that it is. So it says in verse 2, gather yourselves together and hear ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Let's deal with that right there. It says, verse 2, gather yourselves together and hear ye sons. Oh, let me find another dry erase marker. This right here is tripping on us right here. It says, let me read it again though. It says, gather yourselves together and hear ye sons of Jacob. If anybody's on the phone, before we go any further, I need someone to go to Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. Deuteronomy 6 and 4. And when you get it, say you got it. Because we're going to read that right there, because Genesis 49 and 2 just says something that we need to know. And we went over this scripture before. If you've been in class with me, we went over this scripture before. Deuteronomy 6 and 4. Anybody got it online? True Concern, you there? All right. I got it. I'll read it, not a problem. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. It says, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Hear. The key word is here. You got to listen, you know. So let's go back to Genesis 49. And before we go into the verses of Genesis 49, we're going to deal with this first part right here. It says, gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. So when you're looking at your blue letter, it's going to say, Hakobataza wa shamaiwa, bunya, yaikwa, yaikwa. When it says yaikwa, it says bunya, yaikwa. Yaikwa, let's put that on the board. We're going to put that on the board. So we know what Yaik, go ahead. All right, I'm going to adjust it in a second. Give me a second. Let me put this on the board and I will adjust it for you. Salaki and so why I'm telling you that. All right, we got Yaikwa. Since is that a little better? All right. We got Yaquab up here. Now, does anybody know who Yaquab is? Who is Yaquab according to the Bible? I'll give you a hint. Go ahead. Jacob. Correct. Correct, sis. That's the correct answer. Jacob. Jacob is Yaquab. And it also says in that very same verse, and hearken unto Israel your father. Hearken unto Israel your father. So we're going to put Israel up here. So we know this right here is Yaquab. Let's put this up here right quick. Yaquab. This is Yaquab right here. All right? That's Yaquab. Jacob in the Hebrew. And it says, when we go on down in verse 2, it says, and hearken unto Israel your father. Can someone tell me what is Israel in the Hebrew? How do you say Israel in the Hebrew? Everybody don't speak at one time. How do we say Israel in the Hebrew? All right, I got you. Yasharallah. Yasharallah. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can still say it. You still can say it. Yasharallah. There you go. Yasharallah. And when we're talking about Israel, you know, in Genesis, you're gonna hear Jacob or Yaquab. You're gonna hear Jacob or Yaquab in Genesis a lot. You're gonna hear that a lot. You're gonna hear that a lot. And when you hear it, you know, it keeps you aware and keeps you honest of who this Bible is talking about. Because a lot of times, people want to include every nation under the sun into these 12 tribes, but that's not how it goes. And we're going to find out how it truly goes right now. And we're going to deal, and we're not going to put up the whole scripture. We're not dealing with whole scriptures. We're going to deal with the names of the tribes within the scripture and learning to recognize them inside the scripture, okay? And one day in the near future, we'll go back and do the whole verse. But right now, we're just going to concentrate, we're just going to concentrate on the names of the tribes. And in concentrating on the names of the tribes, you learn the characters. And as you learn the characters, you'll be able to put the words together, not just Judah, not just Benjamin, not just Levi. You'll be able to put all the tribes together. You'll be able to use those characters to understand the words that are in the blue letter, that are in your Tanakh, that are in your Torah, that are in that Assyrian Hebrew. You will be able to understand it when you see it. So we're going to go into verse 3 of Genesis chapter 49. It says, Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. Unstable, verse 4 says, unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. Meaning, Reuben did something that he had no business doing. He went and, got with his father's rib for no reason at all, when it's all these women out here on earth to deal with, But he did something that was despicable. But right now, we're going to figure out who is Reuben in this world right now. Does anybody know who Reuben is today? Who is Reuben today? Somebody tell me. Who is Reuben today? Who is Reuben today? Go ahead.
Seminole Indians, a lot of them are down in Florida.
Right, correct. The Seminole Indians. All right. The Seminole Indians are the Reubenites. So, according to the scripture, it says we got to figure out who it is. It says, we see Reuben in the blue letter and in the English. So we just got to figure out which one of these words is Reuben in the Hebrew. Because when you know what's going on, you'll be able to understand who is being talked about, when, where, why, and how. And it's power in the Hebrew. So when you say the Hebrew names, you're actually giving power to the language, and the Most High is recognizing what you're saying. So Reuben would be Ra'awabon. 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 Ra-a-wa. Ra-ba and a now. Alright, we got, let me make that a little bit. Now let me remind you, I am not Officer Hadar with that awesome penmanship, but we still gonna get it done. And you will be able to understand the names of these tribes today. Alright? So what is Reuben in the Hebrew? If you're looking at the board, we can sound it out together. What's the first character? Anyone online, what's that first character? We're going to put it together. What's that first character? On the board. It's on the board right there. What's that first character? Anybody? All right. I got you. That first character will be a Ra. Remember, we're going from right to left. All right. The second character, it will be a Ah. The third character be Wa. Fourth character is Ba. Last character is Na. And when we put it all together, Ra'awa Bun. And we'll do it in the ancient as well, so that you can see how it goes together. Ra'a wa ban. Ra'awa ban. Ra'awa ban, and we're going to put that in the ancient as well, so that you can understand what's going on. So here we go, in the ancient, over here, Ra, Ah, Wa, Ba, and the last character would be a Na. Alright? Last character will be Ra, Ah, Wa, Bun. Ra'awa Bun. Let me get my connectors correct here. Ra gets the upside down connector, Ah gets the upside down connector, and the Wa gets the upside down connector. When you connect, you're going to connect the Ba and the Na to make the Bun. So Ra'awa Bun. Ra'awa Bun. Take a moment to write that down for your notes. Ra'awa Bun. Now let's read that verse again, talking about Reuben. It says, Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. Verse 4, unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. So when we're talking about Reuben, we're talking about the Seminole Indians. Ra'awa Bun. Ra'awa Bun. Bun. Ra'awa Bun. Ra'awa Bun. You got that written down, sis? I take it you still right, and I give you a few more seconds. Now, when we talk about these 12 tribes, we got to understand that these 12 tribes are special to the Most High. They're special to the Most High because in Deuteronomy 7 and 4, we're going to put it. I promise you we're going to put it. We're going to it 7 and 6. Well, we're going to start with 7 and 4. Deuteronomy 7 and 4. When you go to Deuteronomy 7 and 4, it says, for they will turn away thy son from me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. So when we go and serve other gods as the 12 tribes of Israel, we get destroyed. Eat quickly, and you can see that every day. We get destroyed. Verse 5 says, but thus shall ye deal with them. You shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. So wherever we go, whatever land we come up on, whatever thing that it is we're doing, we got to get away from that. Burn and break. Burn and break. That's what the Most High wants us to do. Burn and break their images. That's what we got to do. Because if we worship them, we're going to be making the Most High angry. And making the Most High angry is not a good thing. Because you see, we've been in slavery. We've been in bondage for well over 400 years. We've been in bondage since 70 AD. And folks say, you weren't in bondage in 70 AD. We got kicked out of our land and had to go to somebody else's land and hide from the Romans for a time, built up a society, and got caught up again in bondage because the filthy, low-down, dirty, nasty, smelly Africans sold us all to our oppressor that we're here with today. You know. So when we go down to verse 6, it says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So the Most High already blessed the 12 tribes of Israel. He just said it. He said it because he placed us above all nations on the earth. You can't get no better than that. Why would you want to be equal when the Most High said you are above all nations? And being above all nations is where you want to be. You know, but right now, because of our transgressing the law, We are at the bottom. We are at the bottom. So let's continue on. I hope everybody got this down. Hope everybody got this down. We're still in Genesis 49. We're moving on. We're moving on. Does anybody have any questions, scripture, or anything they want to go over before we get deep in it? Because we about to get deep in it. We're going in it. And no, I'm not going in order of the 12 tribes chart. I'm going in the order of Genesis chapter 49 from verse 1 to the end. So we're just going to deal with it that way. And then we'll come back later, in the later class, and we'll break it down in the order of the 12 tribes chart. Okay, but right now, we're going to go on with the next verse. Verse 5, it says, Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. And it says, when you're looking at, let me rewind that back. This is basically saying that you don't want to mess with Simeon and Levi. You don't want to mess with them. You don't really want to deal with them in no way of wickedness, because they will come see you. Because they deal in instruments of cruelty. That's what they do. Simeon and Levi. They deal in instruments of cruelty. Let's find out a little bit more about them. It says, verse 6. O my soul, come not into their secret, unto their assembly, my honor. Be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a well. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Now we know that the Levites' portion did not get a portion of land. They did not get a portion of inheritance. They were scattered throughout Israel. Simeon got a small portion of land, but when you read the scripture, it says, let's go back to it, verse 7. It says, Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob. All right. Now we know that the majority of the 12 tribes are here on this, what we would call land of the Americas, North, Central, and South Americas, plural. We know that the majority of the house of Israel is here on this side of the planet, in this hemisphere. So when you look at a map, Simeon is the Dominicans and Levi are the Haitians. When you look at a map, the Dominicans and the Haitians share an island. Am I correct? Sister Santigua, just for your edification, I want you to go into go in the Google machine and pull up Dominican Republic and pull up Haiti. And tell me on your map that you pull up if they are on the same island or they are a separate island. Or they have their own separate island. Can you do that for me, sis? They are on the, okay, I'm glad you said that. They are on the same island. But the scripture says, for it was cruel, I will divide them in Jacob. So even though they're on the same island, one portion of the island is Simeonites, and the other half of the island is Levites. It's a border between them. So this scripture is further proving the point that that Israel is over here, because those brethren, let me say it that way, those Achium and Akwathian are on that island together and divided by an imaginary border that when they cross it, they have issues with one another. Now, ain't that something? So let's deal with this right here. It says, let's go back to it, verse 5. It says, Simeon and Levi. It said, Shemayawan and, what is that? Salakia? Lawyer. It says, Shemayawan wa lawyer. The first two words in the Hebrew. Shemayawan wa lawyer. Let me put up wa lawyer first. Because that wa means and. And the reason we can prove that right now. Because when you say, Barakatah Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai, you're saying, bless the Most High and Christ. That's what you're saying. When you hear General Muhammad say, Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai. He's saying, bless the Most High and Christ. That Wa means and. So when you see it in this text, it's going to say Wa lawyer, Wa lawyer. Wa lawyer. That's what that is. But the root word is lawyer. The root word is lawyer. Alright? But with that Wa on it, it makes it and. So it's and Levi. That's what it is. Wa lawyer. And Levi. Alright? But when we drop that Wa, it's just lawyer. Alright? Make it bigger. Wa, law, Wa, Yah. So, Wa makes it is and lawyer is Levi. Alright? Lawyer. Give you a moment to write that down. I'm going to take the Wa off of it so you can have just the word lawyer. Alright? And then, once you get that down, we're going to do Simeon. Simeon is Shemaiah one. And if anybody know anything about the Dominicans right now, they got an issue. They got a problem. Does anybody know what their problem is? And I'm going to give you a hint on what their problem is. It's dealing with their skin. They're trying to do something to their skin to appear some type of other way. Does anybody know? Go ahead, sis.
They bleach themselves.
Con. They're bleaching themselves. Why are they bleaching themselves, sis? I hope you know the answer. I believe you do, though, because you knew that. What?
They're trying to appear more Caucasian, like a Caucasian.
Right. They want to look more European so that they can fit into European society. And no knock to our Simeonite brothers. No knock to them at all. When they come here to America, they don't want to be classified or labeled as black. And I can understand that. I can feel them on that. They don't want to be labeled as that. They want to be Dominican. I can feel them on that. So when you see a Simeonite, and you ain't even going to know he's a Dominican, you're not going to know, you're going to think he's a regular black man because he looks just like you. Look just like you, Judite man, Judite woman. They look just like you. But they don't want to be called black. They want to be called Dominican. You know, they want to get as far away from the black culture as they possibly can. I hope y'all got lawyer down. We're going to write down Simeon. We're going to write down Simeon. Shemaiah one. Now, our brothers to the south, Simeon and Levi, you know what I'm saying, before I write this on the board, they were always together. In ancient times, they were always together. You would not find one without the other. It's like that brother, it's like that those family members in your family. You'll never see one without the other. There might be two cousins, there might be two brothers, or two sisters, but you won't see one without the other. That's how Simeon and Levi are in ancient times. But now they're not that way because of what? Oppression. Oppression drives a wise man, makes a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. When Columbus came over here and gave the Dominicans the Spanish language, it destroyed them. Why? Because they want to look like the Europeans. They want to be what they would call Negropeans. They are black people that want to be white. They white people with blackface, so to speak, But you're one of the 12 tribes of Israel, my brothers and sisters from the Dominican Republic. And your namesake is Shemaiah one in the Heberws. Shema, and then you got Wa, Salaki with that Wa. And once again, you're going to have to excuse the handwriting of mine. Shemaiah, I keep doing the same thing. But we're going to get it right. We're going to get it right. All right. Shemaiah one. Shema, I, Wa, and Na. Shemaiah one. So we'll do it in the ancient as well, so we can properly put those words together. Shalom. We did a mark. We did a I, and we need a wa, and we need a now. Alright? Sha, my. Salaki, I'm wrong. Sha, my one. Shemai one. Shemai one. Shemai one. Sha, you get the frown face. My and I come together with a connector. A frown face on the Sha, a smile on the Ma and the I, and another smile on the Wa and the Na. Shemai one. Shemai one. Shemai one. Alright? We got, I'm going to give you time to put that on the board. That's Simeon. That's Simeon. I'm going to give you time to write it down. Sha, my one. Now when we say these words, we say them fast, it sounds like we're adding characters to it. And when you start reading this Hebrew and learning this Hebrew, it will be that way. The Pash. When you start learning this Hebrew, you'll get comfortable with it and you'll be saying it before you know it, you're like, did I just say that right? And you had to check yourself. Like, Shemai one. A lot of people say Shemai one, but it's Shemai one. Shemai one. You got to look at it and put these connectors together. Once you get these connectors together, everything works out. All right, I'm going to give you a moment to write that down. And as we write it down, let's read a little bit more about Shemai one. It says, cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. All right? Let's see what it says. Ba Yaquab, Ba Yaquab. So I'm saying Ba Yaquab. What am I saying? Ba Yaquab. If I'm saying Ba Yaquab, what am I saying? Yaquab. What is Yaquab? Somebody tell me what's Yaquab. We just talked about it. Anybody? Go ahead. Jacob, all right. So in here it says Ba Yaquab. Ba Yaquab means in Jacob, all right. And it goes on, it says, and scatter them in Israel. Ba Yasharallah. Where's Yasharallah? We just talked about it. Where's Yasharallah? Anybody can answer. Whether you're on the line or on the phone or in class. Anybody can answer. If you don't know, it's okay. I got an officer of 50 in here that should know what Yasharallah is. What's Yasharallah, Officer Device? What's Yasharallah, Officer Device?
It means Israel.
Israel. So Ba Yasharallah means in Israel. In Israel. Yasharallah is Israel. All right. Yaquab is Jacob. All right. So when we see these words, when we see these characters in the order that they're arranged, and we make these words and make them come together, we know what we're talking about. We just ain't reading just to be reading. You know what I'm saying? Because what I've learned is, our own people are the ones that question us the most. You know what I'm saying? But how you know that mean that? How you know that? That ain't what they say. The so-called Jew over there in Israel don't say it like that. Well, who cares? Who gives a shit what he talking about, Salakia? Who cares? Who cares what he's talking about? Because his language that he's speaking is not Hebrew. It's a form of Hebrew. It's a bastardized form in Hebrew called Yiddish, where they've added their language, which is German and Dutch. They added their language to the Hebrew to make the words to make it sound, the way that it sounds today for them to speak it. But when you see the ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, ha, ta, za, qua, ra, sha, and tha, when you see that, that is the ancient way of speaking this Hebrew language. So whatever that oppressor is doing, let him have that. Let that oppressor have that. Let him have that. Because it's not our language. It's a bastardized form of our language so that they can understand it. But if they were to, newsflash, you're gonna have to go back a couple of years, maybe a couple of years back, and watch a video of Commanding General Yahanna, and he makes a video about, about the Lashawan Qadash, and how, people were asking him about the Lashawan Qadash, this, that, and the third, and he's, breaking it down, and he comes up to this segment in his class. This is when it was the grill. He said that the FBI, Harvard, and other Ivy League schools came to him, approached him, and said, the language that we speak, the things that we say are true to its form. Why? Because they know. Your oppressor knows that there are no vowels in the ancient Hebrew. They know that. And so when they hear us speak it, they know that we are speaking the truth. We're speaking the thing that which is of the Most High. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Every Friday when you're learning the Hebrew, every Saturday when whatever city you're in, when that Sabbath teacher is teaching class and you have the reader reading and they're reading that Hebrew and you hear all those beautiful words, let me give you something like this right here. Say, Rawar, Apam, Kayab, Izah. When you hear that right here, when you hear it with that force and those characters in that order and the way they're read, it's like, it's power in that. Also, the Pies, you got a pop up there? Go to Ecclesiastes, the very, it'll be the introduction to Ecclesiastes. Go to that for me right there and hold it when you get it. So when we're reading this Hebrew, we got to understand that there's power in that Hebrew. All right? And I hope everybody got this because I'm going to erase this right here. So we're going to get into the king's tribe. Who is the king of Israel? Somebody tell me, who is the king of Israel? What's his name? What it look like? Where he from? What did mama call it? What's the king? Who's the king of Israel? Who's the king? Anybody? Somebody. Somebody tell me who's the king of Israel? Nobody? Go ahead. Go ahead, Sister Sanjay. Yahawashi is the king. Yahawashi Mashiach. Yahawashi Mashiach is the king of Israel. What tribe did Yahawashi Mashiach come from? What's his tribe? You know that, Sister Sanjay? Go ahead. Judah. King's tribe. Judah. All right. What throne does Yahawashi sit on? Whose throne does Yahawashi sit on? And go ahead, Sister Sanjay. No. That's the Most High. He sits on the right hand of the Most High. He sits on King David's throne. There you go. You got it. David's throne. King David's throne. Because Christ is a son of what? King David, right? When you go back into these scriptures, it all goes back to King David. All of it goes back to King David. It goes back from King David to Isaac. From Isaac on back to Adam. And David was the king. The throne is in Jerusalem. David sat on that throne. It's David's throne. It's David's kingdom that was given to Solomon. And they passed all the way down to who? Our king, Yahawashi Mashiach, the greatest black man, the greatest revolutionary black man since ever. There's nobody greater than Yahawashi Mashiach, who the Christians and everybody else in the world so-called, they call him Jesus, you know what I'm saying? That's what they call him. But his mama calling Yahawashi. If his mama calling Yahawashi, yeah, what I'm going to do? I'm calling him Yahawashi. So let's deal with Judah right here. It says, verse 8 in Genesis chapter 49. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Verse 9, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? Who gonna wake up Judah? I look at all this stuff we going through right now, and you look at the world. black men and black women all in America are waking up to the truth of who they are. Whether they're in this I.S.U.P.K or not, they are still waking up to the fact that they are the people according to the Bible, the Israelites according to the Bible. And according to their tribe, that some even know that they're Judites by listening to the men, the priests, the prophets of the I.S.U.P.K, because we're everywhere. And when you hear us in the corner, on the street corner, on the main street, wherever, on these classes online, you meet us in the street, you talk to us, you know what I'm saying? You will quickly find out that black man here in America, you are the Jew. You are the Jew according to the Bible. Some black men consider themselves to be Jews, and they really don't know their identity. They could be a Gadite. We're going to talk about Gadites later on. They could be a Reubenite. We'll talk about Reubenites later on. But at the same token, we're all part of those 12 tribes. But Judah, that's the king's tribe. And we're gonna put that on the board. His name is Judah. In the English and in the ancient Hebrew, it would be Yahanna. Yahanna. So like, for instance, I'm gonna put this on the board right quick for you. Yahanna. Alright, Yahanna. So on Sabbath service, you might hear one of the men stand up and get ready to go up to the podium to read the Hebrew. They may stand up and say, Shalom, how about you? They say, state your registry, what it will be. I state my registry. It will be Yahweh Yadai, Bun Yahweh, Bun Yasharallah. So when you hear somebody say Bun Yahweh, they're saying son of Judah. You know what I'm saying? And then they say Bun Yasharallah, son of Israel. So Yahweh Yadai, son of Judah, son of Israel. You know, just a future reference for those that, you know, they hear people stating their registry and they're just trying to figure out what they're talking about. Isaiah Allah, when he states his registry, it'll be Isaiah Allah, Bun Loya, Bun Yasharallah. He's a Levite. So you have to pay attention to the tribes when they give their registry, when people give their registry, because all of us are not Jews. All of us are not Benjamites. All of us are not Levites. All of us are not Simeonites. All of us have different nationalities within the 12 tribes. All of us, even though we're Israel, we're still different. You're not the same as your sister in your house or your brother in the house. Y'all have your own identity. You have your own makeup. But you're still a part of that family that you came out of. You understand? And that's the same thing with Israel. We all have what we have. So let's deal with Judah right here. And we, in the ancient, this is how we say it, Yahanna. That's how we say it in the ancient Hebrew. When we read Assyrian and we read that ancient Hebrew and we say Yahanna, you know, it makes the world mad. Because they know the Jews in their mind, they think the Jews are those, you know, those pale-faced, fork-tongued devils that live in the land that is ours. They think they're the Jews, but they're not. They're not. Also, before you read Ecclesiastes, go to Revelation chapter 12, chapter 1 and verse 12, if you don't mind. Revelation 12 and 1. Because they don't want you to understand 1 and 12. They don't want you to understand how this Bible works. They don't want you to understand that you are the people. They don't want you to understand that. If blacks and natives and Hispanics knew that they were the people of the Bible and started doing what the Bible actually said to do, wow, this world would be in a whole nother place. It'll be a whole nother way of rulership. Because what we're living under now, right now, let's just say if Christ was on the scene living right now, right here in America, putting in the laws, statutes, commandments, like it. Let's just say he was here, doing his thing, putting his foot in the neck of the oppressor. It wouldn't be no homosexuals. Right. It wouldn't be no pastor pork chop. It wouldn't be none of that. It wouldn't be none of the abominations of the word. It wouldn't be the homosexuals. It wouldn't be none of that. Because it would be righteous rulership under righteous laws. You got that 1 and 12? Go ahead and read that.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 12. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me.
What he said he turned to see who it was. It's John the Revelator saying I hear somebody talking, I need to see who this is. Keep going.
And being turned, I saw seven golden candlesticks.
He said he's seen seven golden candlesticks. Keep reading.
Verse 13. In the midst of the 7 candlesticks.
In the midst of them 7 candlesticks, which represent the 7 churches of Asia Minor, keep going.
One like unto the Son of Man.
One like unto the Son of Man. I'm a man. I'm a man. It say one like unto the Son of Man. We are all seed of Adam. So one like unto the Son of Man. Keep going.
Clothed with the garment down to the foot.
Now, when you see Officer Thamayam on Sabbath service, when you see Officer Akaz on Sabbath service, when you see Officer Hadar Moth on Sabbath service, they have on these glorious garments. Keep going.
And a girt about the paps.
And they have something around their waist called a girdle or a war belt. Keep reading.
With a golden girdle.
Golden girdle. Now, Christ got a golden girdle. The ones we have, we're preparing for war. We're preparing for these righteous acts. So we got what we have. We ain't rich. We're not in our kingdom yet. So we have to use the materials that are available to us to get us prepared for what's to come. Keep reading out in the Bible.
His head and his hair were white like wool.
His head and his hairs were white like wool. Sister Santiago, who on earth has white, woolly hair when they get older? What group of people? Israel. The black man, that Negro that you see walking in the street and you don't want to give him 50 cents because he asked you for 2 quarters. That man. Keep reading.
As white as snow.
As white as snow. As white as snow. So John the Revelator, he's revealing to you what Christ looked like. He's saying he got white woolly hair. And I can imagine how beautiful it is. Because I see my brothers in the school, in the I.S.U.P.K, with white woolly hair. I see it. And it's beautiful. Keep going.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
His eyes were as a flame of fire. His eyes were as a flame of fire. His eyes are as a flame of fire because he takes a drink too. Just like us men here in the school, we take a drink. Just like the men in the street, they take a drink. When they take that drink, and it's that good drink, their eyes turn red. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 15.
Verse 15. Go ahead.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
His feet like unto fine brass. Keep going.
As if they were burnt in a furnace.
As if it were burned in a furnace. Who got those feet that's black like that? Who got black feet? I'll wait. Because I know it ain't Edom, Idumea, Mount Seir. I know the Edomites don't have black feet. But they tell you all day, hold on for a second, let me get some for you. Let me get some for you. Oh, yeah. We're going to do it again in a minute. We're going to do that again. Let me get some for you. They'll have you believe. They'll have you believe that this right here, this bastard right here, is Jesus the Christ. I need you to look at this. Start where it says his hair was white as wool. Go back to that.
Verse 14. And his head and his hair were white like wool.
His head, his hairs, meaning the hair on his head, his mustache and beard, were white like wool. Now, when you see this right here, this little bastard right here look like some biscuit, look like an old damn goat hair. He got goat hair. You know what I'm saying? He got that ostrich hair or something like that. It ain't woolly, and it for sure ain't white. Keep reading the house in the Pastor.
As white as snow.
This ain't nothing on him about his hair white as snow. He got that blonde hair, that golden blonde hair is what he has. Keep going, the house in the Pastor. We got to break this down right here. Keep going.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Now, when you look at this pepperwood right here, his eyes are blue, like the sky out there. Now, when I was in my science class growing up, in the ancient days, the days of old, they told me blue eyes are recessive. That means you're recessive genes when you got those blue eyes. So, here again, he don't fit the description because Christ's eyes are red. His head and his hairs are white as snow, and he got red, fiery eyes. Keep reading that, Austin the Pastor. Because we got to denounce this bastard right here in our nation, in the nation of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans known as Israel. We got to serve the nigger God. Keep going there, Austin the Pastor.
verse 15,
Uh-huh.
and it speak like unto fine brass.
Now, when they say feet, now remember, your feet gonna be the same color as your arms, your hands, your face, and all that. You say it's the color of fine brass. What's the next part of that?
As it will burnt in a furnace.
Now, ain't nothing about this man burnt. Several
right.
verses here is an Edomite. What I just described to you is that homeless man that's sitting in the corner downtown Atlanta. It's that homeless man sitting up under that bridge downtown Atlanta, downtown Decatur, up the street Lithonia, down the road on Covington. You see what I'm saying? It's that Negro that you pass over every day thinking that, he ain't nobody special. He's just a neighborhood drunk. You talking about Christ.
Work.
You talking about Christ if you saying that man a neighborhood drunk. That's exactly what you're doing. If you knew anything about this Bible, you'll understand that when you see that man on that corner that look just like that old man with that white hair, and he just as black as he want to be, you looking at Christ. You looking at Christ. So we're gonna get back to this lesson, Genesis 49. It says, and we're verse 8. It says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. How do we know that to be true? How do we know that to be true? When you turn on your TV, who you see on the TV? It's football season right now, and it's baseball season. It's baseball season right now. I ain't been watching baseball right now, so I don't know who the major black person is on the baseball field. But we'll go tennis because tennis is being played right now. Who's the number one tennis player in the world? Black woman. What's her name? It's two of them. It's three of them. I tell you what, it's three of them. Two of them are sisters. Go ahead.
Japanese and Asian girl.
Uh-huh. Osaka. Uh-huh.
And then we have
Venus and Serena and Miss Osaka. Them are black women. Alright, it says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. When you hear about all through the 12 tribes of Israel, I'm going to give you another one, because I like boxing as well. Floyd Mayweather, greatest of all time. They'll tell you Muhammad Ali. Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is the greatest of all time. Great man. He's a black man. I'll give you another one. LeBron James, Michael Jordan. I give you another one. Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson. I give you some more. Ben Carson before he went Team Trump. Because Ben Carson was doing things unbelievable as a doctor. Who else do we know that the world see when they hear that name? You're like, man, that's the power. That man right there got power. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Just think about these people. Just think about these people. Go ahead. Uh-huh.
I was gonna say Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah, Mike Tyson. All these people, you know what I'm saying? The world praise it, especially the 12 tribes. Let's go on the soccer field. You got a brother named Pele. Who else we got? Let's see. Go ahead.
I was gonna say from Benjamin tribe, Hussein.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's my boy right there. Usain Bolt. That's the fastest man in the world. That boy right there, awesome. He awesome. Him, Michael Johnson. Y'all know Michael Johnson from the 90s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, them some bad boys right there now. I give you another one. It's a boy named Vladimir Guerrero. Used to play baseball for the Toronto Blue Jays. His son is playing baseball right now and is doing his thing. Black people rule the world in everything. We are the best at everything, whether it's arts and sciences, whether it's literary, whether it's sports, whether it's medicine, whatever it is, we are the best at it. People go to Brazil to get plastic surgery done. Who's down in Brazil? We're gonna get to them. They Israelites. The Mexicans, Isupk, they do all the work for you. You know what I'm saying? Our nation, our tribes, our nation, our people are the greatest people on the face of earth. But Judah, everybody's gonna praise them. Why? Because Judah does everything the best. Everything. You can't beat a Judite at nothing. Nothing. Not a thing at all. So we got in the Assyrian Hebrew on the board, we got Judah. But it's not Judah in the ancient. It's Yahawada. 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 Alright, and we're gonna do it in the ancient as well. So we know what's going on. Because our people, what they perish for, what? A lack of knowledge. And in that perishing for a lack of knowledge, we find ourselves what? In a bad situation. We find ourselves in a totally bad situation. And that bad situation only gets worse because we don't want to do what the Most High said do. And it's easy to do what the Most High said. It's not grievous. It's not grievous to do what the Most High said. It's not grievous. It ain't hard. It ain't hard not to sleep with your brother's woman. Sisters, it ain't hard if you married and not to go and sleep with another man. That ain't hard to do. We make it hard to do because we want to do what we want to do. We do what we want to do. That's what makes it hard. That's what makes it hard. So, we got Judah, Yahanna, in the ancient Hebrew. So, Yahanna, I got it in the ancient, in the Slavic, right here in the Assyrian, and right here in the ancient. And we're going to break it down in the ancient. Yah, Ha, Wa, Da, and Ha. And we got to connect these things. I already got it set up for you. You got a frowny face for your Yah, a frowny face for your Ha, a frown face for your Wa, and your Da and your Ha are connected to make the Da sound. All right? I'm going to give you a moment to write that down. Give you a moment to write that down. And as you write it down, I'm going to read something to you out of the Apocrypha. I'm going to read something to you out of the Apocrypha. All right? While we're taking that down, it says, give me a second. Let me get myself together here for a moment. I don't want to get red, dry erase on the Apocrypha, so we're going to take our time and read this right here. It says, for the same, it says the prologue of the wisdom of Yahushua, the son of Sirach. All right? Now, if you have an Apocrypha, a paper Apocrypha, if you have a paper Apocrypha, you can find this in the beginning of Ecclesiastes. Could you read this for me? I don't know. It says for the same thing uttered in Hebrew right there. Yeah, read that. The things that we know to be English, the language we speak today, English that was given to us by our oppressor, it don't have no power. There's no power in it. A lot of words are spelled the same but have different meanings when you use them a different way. A lot of words are spelled differently but sound the same. English is garbage. It's a bastardized language. It is not your language, black man. It's not your language, black woman. It's not your language, Hispanic man, Hispanic woman. It's not your language, Native American man, Native American woman. It's not your language. Your language is ancient Hebrew. Read that for me on the one we got.
For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. And sloth.
While he changes that page, it says the things that are in Hebrew translated to another language does not have the same force or the same power. It's not the same. You're not going to get the same emphasis, the same meaning out of it, because the words that we speak in Hebrew, guess who speaks the Hebrew? The Most High, Christ, and the angels. They speak Hebrew. They speak that, the Lashawan, Qadash, what we're learning tonight. That's what they speak. Keep going.
And not only these things, but the law itself.
The law itself. The words we're speaking, Yahanna, it has power in it. It has power in it. But Judah, it's the name in English, but it don't have the same emphasis and power that Yahanna does. Because the Most High understands that. He understands what we just said. Keep reading.
And the prophets.
And the prophets. So when you go in and read Isaiah, let me go to it right quick. I'm going to go to it right quick. When you read Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. Isaiah 3 and 12, I'm going to read a little bit of it. It says, Awayah, La Rashai, Ra'ai, Kaya, Gamawal, Yada Yawa, Ya Aisha, Lawak. When you read that in the Hebrew, verse 11, it says, woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. When you read it in the Hebrew, it has power. It got power. Why? Because the Most High understands what you're saying. Not that he don't understand the English. Not saying that about he gave us all. Everything that was out here was created by the Most High. We'll say that first. But the Hebrew language is the one that has the power. So when you speak it in the Hebrew, and you're speaking it and the Most High hears you, he's going to answer you. When we speak those prayers in the Hebrew on Sabbath service, or on the feast days, the high holy days, when we speak in those prayers, look at what happens in the world the next day or the following week. You have destruction coming. Especially in Psalm 83. Psalm 83 says kill everything. I'm just paraphrasing. I'm just giving you in a couple of words what Psalm 83 is saying. King David said, man, Abba Yahweh, please kill everything. If you don't mind, sir. Kill everything. Because everybody been trying to kill us. So in order to get their protection, King David, he wrote it out. You know what I'm saying? So that we can be able to repeat it here in this future that we're in now. Our present, his future. Think about it. Everything in that Psalm 83 has happened so far. You see the downfall of America. You see downfall of all these nations around us. And you see the building up of the nation of Yasharan. Keep reading that also on the Bible.
And the rest of the books.
And the rest of the books. So when they say the rest of the books, it's talking about in the Old Testament. Because we know that the New Testament is written in the Greek. So when you read from Genesis to Malachi, and you read it in the Hebrew, you're reading with power. You're reading with the notion that the Most High understands exactly what you're saying, and he understands exactly what you want him to do. Now, don't be all selfish and say you want this, that, and third for yourself. Pray for your nation. Once you learn this Hebrew, pray for your nation. Don't pray for yourself. That's selfish. And we're not a selfish nation. Being selfish is what got us in this condition that we're in now, which is called captivity. And what do you mean, Yahweh? How we being selfish when in ancient times? We ain't gonna deal with right now because ancient times is why we in slavery right now, so we need to go back in time. In ancient times, they chose to, they wanted to follow other gods. They wanted to do what other nations do. And what did they do? It made us follow other gods, follow other nations, follow other doctrines, and what the folks say, Alakazam, we're here in slavery, serving bondage in a nation that is not ours, under a group of people that we don't even understand. You don't understand no Caucasian oppressor. You don't understand why he don't take no bath. You don't understand it. Black people don't understand it. Why this man don't take no bath? No, we don't understand it. That's not because we don't do that. We don't understand sleeping with your blood sister. We don't understand it because that's not what we do. We don't understand it. That's not our people. That's not us. All right? So we're going to move on because we got a little bit more time. All right? We just did Judah. So we're going to go on down to verse 13. It says, Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. All right. Zabalawan. All right. It says, when you're in the school, we got these, we got the signs of the 12 tribes. Zabalawan has Guatemala to Panama. All right. For those of you that know about maps and know about a little bit of history, there is something in Panama that ships go through. Do anybody know what it is? What is it called? Your oppressor dug this out so that the cargo ships can go through instead of going all the way to the tip of South America and come back up. They go straight through. It's called the Panama Canal. So let's go back to this again. Verse 13, it says, Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. All right, so Sister Santiva, pull up the Panama Canal, and it'll tell you that it's a waterway when you pull it up. It's a waterway. The Panama Canal is a waterway for ships to pass through from the Gulf, coming into the Gulf of Mexico from the Atlantic Ocean. They go into the Gulf of Mexico, and into the Gulf of Mexico they enter the Panama Canal. And from the Panama Canal, once they go through it, they end up in the Pacific Ocean. Sister Santira, did you see it? Exactly. Exactly. Not just the Jamaicans, Haitians also had a hand in building it. Cubans had a hand in building it. The Brazilians had a hand in building it. All of Central America had a hand in building it. And the funds came from the black man in America, his tax dollars. So a black man, you funded it, and your brothers built it. Think about that. Think about that. It says, we're going to read it again. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for a haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zion. So when you see ships going through the Panama Canal, you're actually seeing ships going through the land of Zebulun. Because this is what Jacob said was going to befall his children. And we're going to put Zebulun up here. So in the English it's Zebulun. Make sure I spell it right. Zebulun in the English. All right. So now we're going to write it out in the Hebrew. We're going to write it out in the Hebrew. In the Hebrew, in the Assyrian Hebrew, Zabawala, and Anah. Alright? So that's in the Assyrian. That's in the Assyrian right there. We're going to do it in the Paleo as well for edification. But right now, let's just deal with the Assyrian. You got Zabawala and Anah. In the Salakia, in the Paleo as well. Give me a moment. Ba, wa, la, and na. Ba, la, wan. Wait a minute. I'm wrong. Zabawalan. Za has its a frown face connector. Ba is a frown face connector. Wa is a frown face connector. La and the Na go together. Zabawalan. 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 Alright? Za. Ba. Wa. Lan. Zabawalan. Zabawalan. Alright? Zabawalan. So when people ask you like, you in that school, you in that club, you in this and the third, thank you, I am. And they're going to go to asking you questions like, well, I seen it in the Bible. I was reading in my Bible in Genesis, they were talking about, I didn't understand it, but they were talking about ships going through this, that, and the third, and these new people going to be running the ships. And you can go ahead and give them a breakdown that the Panama Canal is what they're talking about with Zebulun. Zebulun, according to the Bible in the English. But we know it to be Zebulun in the ancient Hebrew. The way that we speak it, the way our ancestors speak it, the way that it was given to us by Commanding General Yahanna and the 7 heads before him. This is our culture. This is our language. And can't nobody do anything with it but us. Can't nobody tell you wrong with your language. They're like me going to Cambridge and telling the English professor at Cambridge, sir, you don't know what you're talking about. I can't do that because that's his language. But this right here, he can't tell me about this right here. Because it's my language. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The China man, he can tell, I can't go and tell him, man, you ain't speaking that Mandarin right. I can't do that. But I can tell him, China man, you don't know how to speak the Hebrew, but I do. And you crucifying my language. You don't need to do that. You see what I'm saying? I can't tell a Spaniard, I'm talking about the oppressor. I'm talking about the Caucasian European Spaniard. I can't go and tell him that he's not speaking Spanish right, because that's his language. And he can't come and tell me I'm not speaking Hebrew right, because that's my language. I wish the oppressor would. I promise you, I'm going to leave it up here for a second. Because the bottle one is what got you in the Apocrypha. You still got the Apocrypha. Go to 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 45. Remember now, so Balawan is a part of the 10 northern tribes, what we would call the northern kingdom. And in the Apocrypha, it tells you that the northern kingdom, the 10 tribes of the northern kingdom, they counsel among themselves to get away from the oppressor. They wanted to get away from Assyrian captivity, so they had to get on the boat and get away. You got that, boy?
Go
ahead.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 45. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
Stop right there. It say namely of a year and a half. Meaning, now, we talking about ancient times, so it ain't no airplane, ain't no helicopter, ain't no high-speed train, ain't no subway. It's your feet, it's the horse, the donkey, and a boat. That's what you had. Those are your options. So we know that the northern kingdom left Assyrian captivity on boats. Keep reading.
And the same region is called Azarus.
Go up to verse 43. I think it's 43 where they talk about they entered into the passage of the Euphrates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 43. And they enter into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river.
Stop right there. The Euphrates is a river. And the only way you can enter into the river is by swimming or on a boat. Now we know they didn't swim to what we know as America today. So they had to get on a boat. Who would lead that charge? Zabalawan. Why Zabalawan? Because it said, let's read it. Zabalawan shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zion. Okay. He is telling you that he will dwell at the haven of the sea. So if he's dwelling at the haven of the sea, at the entrance of the sea, where the boats are, what that's telling you, he's a seafaring man, or seafaring brothers. This tribe is a tribe of seafarers. They out there on the water. They know how to navigate the waters. This Bible is real. You can't get past what this Bible is teaching you. You can't get past it. All right. So we find out about Zabalawan. All right. So in finding out about Zabalawan, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on a little bit. We ain't got much time in here tonight. We ain't got much time. We in Genesis 49. For those of you that chimed in late, it's all good. It's all good. They don't be late when Christ show up. Don't do that. The best way not to be late when Christ show up is to go ahead and get in this truth. Come on in this one West. This I.S.U.P.K. You know what I'm saying? You won't be late then. So you'll have exactly what you need. Issachar, verse 14. Genesis 49, verse 14. Issachar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens. Verse 15, and he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. So he get paid to be a servant. All right. It said he is a strong ass couching down between two burdens. When you look at the land of Issachar right now, which is Mexico, when you look at the Mexican border, it sits between America, what we know as the United States of America, and it sits between South America, the nations of South America. All right? Let's read it again. You cannot make this up. This is in the Bible. And it's a burden. The Americans are a burden to what? Isupk. Why? Because Isupk doing all the work for both continents. For both continents, North and South America. Isupk is doing all the work. Alright? It says, Isupk is a strong ass donkey couching down between two burdens. The two burdens are North America and South America. Mexico is sitting in the middle. Those are two burdens. Why would it be two burdens? The first burden, we'll say United States of America is the first burden. What was it? Slavery. Second burden, South America. Same thing, slavery. That's a burden on your people. That's a burden. So let's find out, let's put it in the Hebrew. So here we go. We got Isupk right here. We're going to put Isupk in English so people know who we're talking about. Isupk. Does anybody know why they would describe Isupk as what do we say? As a strong ass, a strong donkey. Why would they call Isupk a strong ass? Why would they do that? Go ahead, sis.
They're very hard work.
Uh-huh.
They constantly work. I would say because they constantly work. And they can do all types of jobs.
Right. All right. Now, why would it, okay, they do hard work. And so when you see a donkey in the field, a donkey is doing all the hard work, right? Now remember, the Bible is a book of similes and metaphors. Similes and metaphors. Meaning, it's telling you something without giving it all the way to you. It's not, the water is wet. Okay. It's not telling you the water is wet. It's giving you a roundabout way of describing it so that you can get a better understanding of it. And instead of just saying he's a hard worker, it told you, it says, is a strong ass couching down between two burdens. Meaning he's a strong worker, great worker, but he caught between a rock and a hard place. America and South America. North America and South America. He caught between a rock and a hard place. If anybody's caught between one, that'll be Isupk. Because Isupk got, but the thing about Isupk is, in his work of doing all this work for the world, he gets the lowest pay. You know what I'm saying? He gets the lowest pay. But he don't complain about it. He makes it work. You know, and you can't get no better brother than that. You can't. I don't see it. I don't see how you get a better brother than that. When you got a man that doesn't mind working, when you got a man that doesn't mind getting his hands dirty for his nation, that's hold on, let me get this right. That's something great for your nation, because you know the work gonna get done. Alright? So I got it up here on the board. And it's Yashakar in the Hebrew. Yashakar, let's go verse 14 in the blue letter. The very first word will be Yashakar. Alright, so it'll be Yash, Kar. Yep. It's not the strong CH. It's not the strong car. It's the other car. It's the other car. It's not the strong car. Not the strong car. All right. Not the strong car. All right. Yashakar. We fold it down. Yashakar. Yashakar. The Yah and the Shah is connected. The Shah is not connected. The Ka and the Ra are connected. You got two Shahs in the middle now. The Yah and the Shah are connected. The next Shah is not connected. It has a frown face bumper. And the Ka and the Ra has a smiley face bumper. That what makes it Yashakar. 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 So when you say it fast, you know, when you get to speaking this Hebrew, you say it fast, it is what it is. It's that Hebrew, it's that language. It's that Lashawan Qadash. I'm going to give you a moment to get this down. Yashakar. Yashakar. And Yashakar are our amigos to the south, the Mexicans, what we would call Mexicans, you know. They're the Mexicans. Not the Migos out of North Carolina, not the Migos. Not them Migos. Not them Migos. But the amigos from the southern border. You know, where they got the babies on the cages, Mexico. Yeah, them amigos, your friend. Amigo in Spanish is friend. But they're your brother. They're your hombre. In Spanish, they're your brother. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand, the Most High is only dealing with the 12 tribes. He's only dealing with the 12 tribes. He don't care about the rest of these nations out here. He don't care. He don't care. Pull that scripture where it say about the other nations being as a drop in the bucket. Then he don't care. The Most High don't care about none of that. He only cares about his children. That's why, okay, I'll give you an example. When your child and some old children are outside and they playing and they end up getting in some trouble or what have you, you don't discipline everybody's child, you discipline your child. You discipline your child. You might say something to them children like, y'all know y'all don't be doing this, but when you get to your house, you pull that belt out, you pull out that shoe, extension cord, whatever it is that you do, because you don't know the truth, and you beat your child half to death. That's what you do. You punish your child. You chastise your child. All right? That's what the Most High is doing to Israel. He's chastising us because we are being hard-headed. Go ahead, sis.
I was gonna say back in the day, this was for a lot of our foreparents. They used to say that other people, the neighbors or other people would whip them or chastise them.
Oh yeah.
And send them home to their home.
Oh yeah.
And
I came from that generation. Where you got your tail beat by everybody other than the street. That's why and in that generation, I was the last of that generation, and those generation of children that grow up to be adults, grow up to be, good citizens, so-called good citizens to the world. But when they took that village away and said you are responsible for your own child, oh man, you got a bunch of little demons out here. You got that scripture there on Isupk? Read it.
Kind of start from 2nd Esdras chapter 6 verse 54.
Go ahead.
And after these, Adam also, who thou madest, Lord of thy all creatures, of him come we all.
We come all us. I look now. Don't get it twisted now. All of us come from Adam. Everybody on planet Earth right now, all of us come from Adam. We all do. Keep reading.
And the people also who thou hast chosen.
And the house of Israel, because that's who the Most High chose, the Israelites. We all come from Adam. The Israelites and the heathens. We all come from Adam. Keep going, Austin.
Verse 55.
Uh-huh.
All this I have spoken before thee.
He's telling you, like, look, I told you this. I'm telling you this now. Everything I told you, it is true. You can't get no better than what I'm telling you. I told you the truth. You need to accept it. Keep reading.
O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
See, he made the world for the sake of Israel. Our sake. This is in the Apocrypha, right?
Mm-hmm.
2nd Esdras, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is an Israelite writing this to you. He's telling you this, that the Most High created this earth, this world, he created it for Israel. Keep reading.
Verse 56. As for the other people.
As for the other people, the other nations, the heathens, them bastards. You know what I'm saying? Them rat bastards. The incest babies, which are Moab and Ammon, the Chinese and the Japanese. Them. Ishmael, Edom, the Hamites, Canaan, put all them. Everybody. Except for you now, Israel. Keep reading.
Which also come from Adam.
All of them come from Adam now. All of them come from air. Listen, if you don't believe what I'm saying, if you don't believe the word that comes out of my mouth, just go by your Apocrypha or go on your Google machine, type in 2nd Esdras, chapter 6 and verse 54.
54, yep.
Start right there and you can see for yourself. Keep reading.
Thou hast said it, they are nothing.
They are what?
They are nothing.
They are nothing. The Most High said, the other nations, the incest babies, which is Moab and Ammon, the Hamites, the Edomites, everybody else, the Japhites, all of them, every other nation, they are nothing. Keep going.
but be like unto spittle.
Unto what?
But be like unto spittle.
Unto spittle. You know, spittle is that little thing that's in the corner of your mouth with the Day of Atonement. Everybody had that little thing in the corner of their mouth because their mouth was dry. You had the cotton mouth. Your mouth was dry, but at the corner of your mouth, you had the little white stuff in the corner of your mouth. And it looked just so nasty. You just, ugh. Keep reading.
And hadst likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
So, the Most High said, this is the Most High, this ain't me. I love him for it. He said, all the other nations are that stuff in the corner of your lip and a drop of the bucket. Think about it. You are nasty nothing. That's what the Most High called you. Because the drop of the bucket, when you carry the bucket of water and that little bit fall out the side, you know what I'm saying? You ain't worried about that. As long as the bucket's still full, you ain't worried about the little drip or little drop that fall out on the side. You ain't worried about that. You ain't worried about that. That's what the Most High is telling you. The other nations, they that filthy, disgusting stuff in the corner of your mouth, and they are a drop in the bucket compared to you. They're worthless. They're nothing. So when you sit back and ask yourself, why do the Most High treat us like this? Why did he put us in slavery? Why did he let us? Because the other nations ain't nothing to him. We mean everything to him. And us meaning everything to him, we what? We are what? What did it say before that in verse 55?
Oh, sorry, okay. All these have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sake.
Because God made the world for our sake. Everybody else is nothing in this world. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. Pull that scripture for me, if you don't mind, all one. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof.
Okay.
The second Ezra just said in chapter 6, in verse 55, that the world was made for our sake. For our sake. So how can we just sit back and be like, we got to love the oppressors, no hell? God didn't make he didn't make the world for the oppressors. He made the world for us. He made the earth for us. Psalm 24:1.
Psalm 24:1. Okay.
Yeah. And us being his portion, we are Jacob, Israel, we are the Lord's portion. We are what he cherished. We are what he cares about. The rest of the world, he don't really give a damn. So if our Father in heaven chose us to be his sons and daughters, the prince and princesses of the power, prince and princesses with power, why would we worry about the other nations and what they don't have? You shouldn't care. Because the Most High only cares about you. If he don't care about other nations, why do you care about a black man, Hispanic man, Native American man? You shouldn't. You got that scripture? Read it.
The book of Psalms, chapter 24, verse 1. A psalm of David. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof.
The earth is the Lord, and the fullness thereof. Meaning, the earth that we walk on, the ground that we walk on, the firmament, the heavens that we see, all that belongs to the Lord. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. So everything that the Most High has allowed to be on the earth belongs to him. So if it belongs to him and we are his children, what did that make us? Inheritors of the earth. We are the ones that rule this earth, but we can't rule right now. Why? Because we want to be the twerk champion. We want to sell all the dope. We want to be the best. We want to be the baddest homosexual on the planet, the baddest transsexual on the planet. We want to be every filthy abomination. We want to eat all the shrimp, crab, lobster, and pig that we can. That's what we want to do. Instead of being what the Most High would want us to be. And there's prince and princesses of the power and with power. But because we choose this other garbage, because we choose the ways of the oppressor, we are where we are. We can't be Yashakar. We got to be Mexicans. You see, when you take on the other nation's doctrine, you become what they want you to become instead of being what the Most High wants you to become. The Most High said Isupk is a strong ass. And he's caught between two burdens. And these two burdens is North America and South America. And I tell you, when you look at it, it is a burden to be healed. It's a burden to be healed. Because when I was on the way up here to class, to teach class, most high price for that. And I'm riding up the interstate, and I'm looking at the side of the interstate. I see these big old tractors, and I see Israelites driving the tractors. I see these Israelite brothers with weeders in their hands, and I see Israelite sisters with trash bags in their hand, picking up trash on the side of I-20. Come on now. If that ain't no hard worker, I don't know now. I don't know now. Now, we finna get into another tribe, and this tribe gonna be easy, and I'm gonna tell you about this tribe. Dan, the tribe of Dan. All right. Tribe of Dan. Now, tribe of Dan got swallowed up into the tribe of Manasseh. Oh, Lord. In the tribe of Manasseh. But he is still your brother. All right? And if you hear the term Danite, it tripped me out when I first heard it. But when you hear the term Danite, you're talking about a man that only has girls. And that was the tribe of Dan. They only had girls. That's why they got swallowed up in the tribe of Manasseh. But Dan, we're going to read them anyway. Verse 16, it says, Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Verse 17, Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path that biteth the horse's heel, so that his rider shall fall backward. Now, ain't that something? Slick partner. That means Dan got, he gonna do some stuff to damn make you think about it. You like, man, what the word? Did this man just do that? Did he just set me up like that? Yep. Israel. Mm-hmm. Jacob. Remember now, who is Dan's daddy? Jacob. What did Jacob do? They say, some would have you to believe that he stole the birthright. Some would say he tricked the man into the birthright. I just say he got it. You know what I'm saying? But we'll go with the trick part and stole part. We'll go with that for just clarification right now. But Dan is just like his dad. You know what I'm saying? He said, I have waited for the salvation, O Lord. All right? That's Dan. Dan with two characters. In the Assyrian, two characters in Paleo. Dan. Da and a Na. Da and a Na. Now remember, the Na at the end of the sentence is different than in the beginning. All right? Always remember, beginning and middle is going to be different than the end. The end is going to have an alternate ending, all right? In the Assyrian. In this series. Alright? So we just did Dan. Alright, we got a couple of more minutes. We'll do the rest of the tribes in the next weeks coming here in the future. But we're gonna do this right here. It's some Gadites in this school. Also the Kasha one is a Gadite. Sister Sativa, you still online? You a Gadite too, right? All right, so we in verse 19. We at your tribe. Your tribe is the last tribe of the night. It says Gad, verse 19, Genesis 49, verse 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Gad, another one of our most esteemed brothers. I love Gad. I do. I promise you I love Gad. I love Gad so much. I got a Native American chief head around my neck right now. I promise you. Because Gad will come through and cut your scalp off. Oh, my God. Gad is awesome. I don't know what y'all think, but Gad is awesome. I don't know how y'all deal with it, but Gad is awesome to me. Go ahead.
I love Gad too. I wear feathers, I wear moccasins, I wear all everything.
You see? That's your heritage. That's your culture. You're supposed to do those things. That's your heritage. That's your culture. When you do those things, you're making the Most High happy. Like right now, I was watching a documentary on Native American Indians a couple days ago. I was just watching it, you know, because I like warfare. I like to see people get their head knocked out. I love it. So I was watching this documentary, and it was showing pictures, different pictures of Gadites, the Gadite brothers and Gadite sisters. And folks like to say all the time, you talking about Gad, you talking about the Native American Indians is Israel. I ain't say it, the Bible said it. And so I was sitting there watching it, and people like, you know, in the world are like, Native Americans ain't no Israelites. They ain't no Israelites. Oh, okay. So go to the part about in Leviticus where it talks about the garments with the border of blue. I think that's Leviticus. Pull that for me if you can. I think it's in Leviticus. But anyway, I was watching it, and I'm like, do these folk got fringes on with a border of blue? I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, this is unreal. This is unreal. And folks like to say, oh, the Native Americans are not Israelites. They ain't from over there. They ain't from over there in the land of Israel. I say, well, in my estimation of being an investigator, a sleuth, a detective, you know what I'm saying, of these scriptures, when I investigate and look at what the scriptures say, according to how the garments are made for Israelites, and then I compare it to the garments that the Gadites wear or the Native Americans wear, how could they not be Israelite according to the Bible? Because their dress code is according to the Bible's dress code. You got that, Otto Warren? Read it out loud for me.
The book of Numbers, chapter 15, starting at 38.
Numbers 15 and verse 38. Go ahead.
Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that are made them fringes.
Hold on a minute. It say, speak unto the children of Israel. It said the children of Israel. Did it say the whole world?
Speak unto the children of Israel.
Did it say the people that crossed over in the Siberian Arctic shelf? They talking about them folks?
Speak unto the children of Israel.
The Chinaman.
Speak unto the children of Israel.
The Moabite.
Speak unto the children of Israel.
The Ammonite.
Speak unto the children of Israel.
The Japhite.
Speak unto the children of Israel.
Now, the world, they would have you to believe that those native people came across the Arctic shelf through Siberia now, came across the Arctic shelf and migrated from Alaska all the way down into South America. That's what they want you to believe. Read that again, Otto.
Speak unto the children of Israel.
Speak unto the children of Israel to do what?
And bid them that they make them fringes.
Fringes. Keep going.
In the border of their garments.
In the border of the garments. Keep going.
Throughout their generations.
Throughout their generations. Now, when I was looking at this documentary now, we just read in 2nd Esdras how, in 2nd Esdras chapter 13, how the northern 10 tribes came here to America on the boat, being guided by Zabalawan, because they are seafaring people. Our brothers and our sisters are seafaring people. They were guided by Zabalawan all the way over here to the Americas. Okay, that's what Ezra says. Here in, you say Numbers
15 and 38.
Numbers chapter 15 and verse 38, it gives you a description of their garments. It said, bid to them that they make fringes. And I have fringes on my headpiece right here. And it's good so you can see it. But I got fringes on my headpiece. You see these little dangling, stringy like things right here. We call them fringes. It's so gorgeous, it's so beautiful. Awesome. My culture is awesome. And it said, make them throughout all your generations. The photos that I saw were from the 1800s, from the middle of the 1800s all the way into the late 1800s, some 1900s, and all of them had fringes on their garments. What else do it say? Do it say anything about a border of a ribbon of blue? Read that part too.
And they put on upon the fringe.
On the fringe now. They put on the fringe. What did they put on the fringe?
Of the borders and ribbon of blue.
Along the borders, a ribbon of blue. Now, if you can see my garment that I have on my head right now, it has fringes, and along the border of my headpiece, it has a blue ribbon. It has a blue ribbon. It ain't no purple ribbon. I like the Dungeon family. It is not big boy them with the purple ribbon. That's for them purple homosexuals. This says a blue. It say blue, right?
Okay, and they put on the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
A ribbon of blue, not a ribbon of purple, not a ribbon of red, a ribbon of blue. When I'm looking at those pictures, I'm looking at color pictures that they had colorized from the 1800s. And they had on their garments Native Americans, Gadites, and Reubenites had blue, a ribbon of blue with the fringes on their garments, on the border of their garments. Now you can't tell me that's just happenstance or by chance. No. Go back to 2nd Heberws chapter 13. Go back to where it was talking about the about I.S.U.P.K and read verse 42.
13:42.
When we talking about the Native Americans, it's like folks are like, oh man, the Native Americans, they not Israelites, they not this, they not, man, the hell what you talking about? God said they're Israelites. Their culture said they're Israelites. Why? Because they have the border of blue with the fringes. And some of the Native Americans even had, for instance, if you watch any Sabbath service in the I.S.U.P.K, you're going to see brothers get up there with their beautiful garments on, down to the feet. You know what I'm saying? Native Americans had the same thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, 42.
Go ahead.
The book of 2nd Heberws, chapter 13, verse 42. That they might there keep their statues.
See, they left that Assyrian captivity to come to America so that they could what?
They may have keep their statues.
All right, go back to one of their statues. Go back to Numbers where you just read with the border of blue, the fringes and the border of blue. One of their statues is putting on these fringes. This is what the Most High said. Read it, Austin, you got it. Okay,
I'm going to go to 39.
Verse
39. And it shall be unto you for a fringe.
For a fringe. A fringe. Keep going. A fringe.
That ye may look upon it.
That you may look upon it. Keep going.
And remember all the commandments.
Remember all the commandments. Keep going.
Of the Lord.
Of the Most High. Keep going.
And do them.
And what?
And do them.
And what?
And do them.
So when you see these fringes and the border of blue on the Israelite man's garment or on the Israelite woman's garment, it's a remembrance to do the law, statutes, and commandments. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome in the end. We just went over a few tribes tonight. We're going to go over the rest of them in a future day. But just understand, in order to know who you are, the Bible needs to be opened up so you can understand what the Most High is saying about the people. Once you realize what the Most High is saying about the people, you can put the characteristics together. And once you put the characteristics together, you'll find out, go to Deuteronomy 6 and 4. When you find out with those characteristics, what they're talking about in those characteristics, the very first thing you're going to say to yourself is, man, I've been lied to. I need to get in this truth. I need to get in this truth. Let me move this out of the way. I need to learn about this man right here named Commander General Yahanna. That's what you need to do. Once you open up these scriptures and you find yourself in there, you need to come right here to this man right here and get under his feet. And when you get up under his feet, what that means is you're going to learn from the men that he taught. The officers and the captains and the generals that he taught, they're going to teach you the very same thing that I know, that Officer Napash knows, that Officer Thama Young knows, that we all learn from Commander General Yahanna. That is that we are the 12 tribes of Israel. Read Deuteronomy 6 and 4 and we're going to get out of here.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 4. Hear, O Israel.
Hear, O Israel. Hear. Listen. Use your ears. Close your mouth and hear. Use them ears. Go ahead.
The Lord our God is one Lord.
Hear, O Israel. Hear, O Israel. Listen, Israel. I need you to listen to what I'm going to say. This is Moses talking now. The Lord our God, Slakia, is one Lord. I'm going to read it to you in the Hebrew, and we're going to get out of here. Shema Yasharallah, Yahweh, Al-Hayanawa, Yahweh Akkad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And with that, I turn the class over to Officer Napashkaya.
This I.S.U.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.K start on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother and sister. Where a new brother and sister come to the school, they are living for 6 months. They are be saluted only. They are here to set themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. In the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Ma'ashra, that means 10 in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the church department of teacher. Priest fund, free-will offer a priest not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you like to give. Next holy convocation is the Feast of the Tabernacle. It's an 8-day feast. It started Monday, September 20th. It ends at Tuesday, September 28th. Mind Archeum and Aquas to check the bulletin board in the hallway. Everyone was being true in the school start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. With that, you run Chris salute. Men Israel. Almighty Sabak, Almighty, Rock, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Thumb. What I say to you in Hebrew, I say, may the Most High, in the name of Christ, bless you, Yahweh. We have a sister line. We'll give one curse salute to the sister line. Men Israel, Almighty Sabak, Almighty, Rock, Yahweh Shema Al Hashem Yahshua. What I say to you, may the Most High watch over you. In the name of Christ, Yahweh, with your hands down, class dismissed.